What's up, nerds? And live from New York, it's Saturday night
You know
with
what?
the Nerdy Entertainment Syndicate.
You know what? I'm going to stand by what I'm going to say right now. I've always been a Mad TV fan over
Really?
SNL. I don't know.
Interesting.
Grew up with it more than SNL.
I guess.
SNL was with too many misses on me. I don't know.
I'm still into that because I'm still into it only because I was so into it for such a long time from back.
So the nostalgia part is like, okay, I'm still in it because of that.
Not so much nostalgia. I do watch it because every week there's at least a couple funny sketches, one or two. There's a good. But I started back in the like Adam Sandler, Dana Carvey. No, not Dana Carvey. Who am I thinking? Who's the guy in Tommy Boy? Chris Farley and David Spade.
David Spade.
Yeah, David Spade days, those kind of days. Like towards the end of that run into the new one.
Those are like the Hallmark people. Those are like the godfathers of what made it SNL. You know, the Belushi and.
Oh yeah, the original 70s. Yeah. But of course I wasn't around then, so I was watching it. I started because that's when I started like just staying up late watching TVs. Like Saturday nights I would watch like the Tales from the Crypt, and like because of Mad TV too.
Right.
Because like, oh, this is a new sketch show. Like I got into that, and then going back and forth like during commercial breaks, Saturday Night Live.
Which is what
I kind of got into.
Who introduced Key and Peele to me?
Was Mad TV. But that was like towards the end of Mad TV too.
Right.
That was actually after I'd fallen off of Mad TV when Key and Peele came on. Key was the funny guy to me because he had one or two characters like the coach and the delivery guy. How never level.
Yeah.
Remember that guy? That guy I liked.
A ho never level.
Like that guy I liked. But Peele was always like the straight man in a lot of sketches. That's why I liked Key because he was like the more outrageous guy. But because of that, going back and forth between Mad TV during commercial breaks and Saturday Night Live, I would end up recording like all of Saturday Night Live while watching Mad TV, and it just stuck with like watching Saturday Night Live, and it's over 40 seasons. It's still around, so I still watch it. There's been a lot of good casts. I mean, Will Ferrell came from there, Jimmy Fallon, Kristen Wiig, and so many others.
I've never found Jimmy Fallon funny.
He's more funny because he's on the show Saturday Night Live. He was more funny because he would be the one that always cracks up, that he couldn't keep a straight face. That's why I like
fake
him.
Laugh on his is so fucking horrible
on
for
the
me.
Tonight Show.
It kills me. Like it shouldn't. It's petty, but it kills me. I'm like so cringy for me. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, it's gotten to that point for me too.
His little hand slap. Ha 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 ha.
Like just it's very obvious. It's like that fake laugh where he jumps back. And does
yeah.
But he was funny on Saturday Night Live because he was the guy that couldn't keep the straight face. And he did great impressions.
But it's because it's been there for 40 years. You gotta have some people coming out. I mean, you have to. But either way, like I said, for me, growing up was Mad TV.
Mad TV was huge in like the first or second season. I think I kind of lost after the big players in season 1 left. Like season 1 had like that original cast, and then season 2 came around. A lot of those guys were missing. Because like David Herman. What's his name? Artie Lang, I think. A couple others kind of left after the first season. I kind of fell off of that. It's like, oh, new cast. I was like,
yeah, Artie Lang, Joe Rogan.
Was he one of the original?
No, he was there for like season 2 or 3.
Okay, but not the first original season. No. Like Nicole Sullivan. She's been there the whole time. She did a long run. Deborah Wilson did a long run. I like them.
Will Sasso, when
he was, I think he came around second or third season.
Ari Spears was.
He was first season, one of the originals. Yeah, so once a lot of that core group, the originals, kind of left, it's kind of like, let me just stick to Saturday Night Live. So that's our
little sidetrack from that intro.
Little history.
But
late night Saturday watch.
How you nerds doing out there? We saw Logan premiere.
We're going full spoiler talk on Logan.
Yes, so we'll start off. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert if you don't want to listen.
But
we'll let you know how long to skip.
This movie was amazing.
It was so great.
It was really good.
It's been stuck in my head since Thursday night since we saw it.
I want to rewatch it.
I want to go see it again.
And let it sink in.
I haven't gotten a chance to go see it again, but I really, really want to go.
Yeah.
And like, because the first time I was just like, okay, I was really into the hype of like the trailers. This is looking really good. This is looking really promising.
Your I understand what you're trying to say, because you're in the back of your head, your fearing is like it's not gonna live up to expectations, and after you're watching, you're like, all right, shit, this was a good movie.
Because those first two, the first one, Origins was actually Wolverine Origins.
Origins, garbage. I'm a Hugh Jackman fan.
Yeah,
I'm a Wolverine fan, and if I'm telling you that was garbage,
it was bad.
It was bad.
But the funny thing is, I was just kind of sidetracking off of that. Mm-hmm. I was going through my collection. I own Green Lantern, Wolverine Origins. I have like the first Fantastic Four movie with Jessica Alba. That's on DVD, not Blu-ray, granted, so it's not really.
I enjoyed it for being super campy, and I think I was like a young kid at that time.
It's like I was like, why do I own all of these bad movies? But I don't have Batman versus Batman and Robin. That one I don't have. So,
but that being said, guys, it's an amazing movie. It's a really, really good movie.
So freaking good.
What has actually kind of surprised me is the amount of people from hype, reviewers are giving them praise. A movie that it's first of all, it's a comic book movie. It's a comic book character and everything like that.
It's based on comic book characters.
And the people that normally you would think they're not part of that world kind of like are saying this is a great movie. Take away the aspect of it being comic book, it's still a great story.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you were to take out the aspect of Wolverine having those superpowers,
correct.
Excuse me, and like these characters with the superpowers and mutants, if these were just regular people in this situation, that would kind of lead to this path within that story. It would be just a great movie alone, because it's got a lot of comparisons. I mean, Hugh Jackman himself said he kind of wanted to make. Did you hear about him like talking about how he got the idea?
No.
Of it, like just he said one morning, literally at 4 a.m, he woke up with the idea for Logan. He wants to do like the Clint Eastwood Unforgiven Western mixed with that Mickey Rourke wrestler movie, and like kind of mix it in that Western genre.
Okay,
and that's
have you
literally
seen
what it was. I haven't seen any of those.
Oh my god, Wrestler! It's kind of like it's hard to explain because Rourke is a washed up wrestler,
a burned out wrestler. I know the premise of the movie.
Who just can't let it go and goes for it one more time. Same thing with Logan, goes for it one more time.
Well, he's kind of thrown in. Logan is thrown into it as opposed to him going for it one more time. But one of the reasons I haven't seen Wrestler is because Darren Aronofsky, who wrote and directed that movie, those movies are kind of hard to watch because he did Requiem for a Dream.
Which, did you see that?
I saw that, and that was one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen.
Jesus.
It gave me a dirty feeling.
Jesus. Was there
dirty?
I guess the only happy ending is that someone got pleasured and got money from it.
I don't know how happy that was.
Or is he going to jail? Or is it losing the hand? Or the arm, I should say?
And then there's The Fountain. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Hugh Jackman.
Which confuses the shit out of me.
It's very confusing. It's almost like 3 stories in one. It's kind of like a love story with these 2 characters where they kind of just that story of that connection.
Is it like you said? Is it a love story and they kind of get very fantasy about it?
Explaining their one story takes place back in like 1800s or something like that, and one is like kind of in the present, and one's like way in the future and stuff like that. And something about a tree where she dies and he plants her and she grows into a tree or something.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. It's very like a dark love story. So that's why it's like, I don't know if I want to see The Wrestler. This guy's like kind of path has led me towards some sadness.
It's honestly, The Wrestler has that same tone.
I could see it as far as like what he described.
Correct. It's not like clear winners or anything. It's not that type of movie where you're like, yay, the good guys won type of deal. It's literally a true struggle. It's more realistic to the point where sometimes there's just not winners in the end.
Yeah, it's just that character story of this wrestler, like you said, burned out and wants to give it another go, but it still doesn't end up a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what Hugh Jackman literally woke up in the middle of the night with that idea. Like wrote it down and then immediately in the morning called up James Mangold, the director. It's like, hey, this is my idea for it. And from there, the director just kind of took that and ran with it and created this amazing movie. Just absolutely awesome. Really good movie. even later on in the process of creating the story, he brought along Laura, the X-23.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't originally in the first draft, but Logan and Professor X were the main characters from the beginning.
Bringing Laura into this, it added such a new dimension to the whole story. And God, man, just seeing those characters that we literally grew up watching them, be in the position that they're in right now is just heartbreaking.
One thing that I kind of, in listening to reviews and listening to all the like YouTube people that I follow, is like, one of the things like with a lot of these X-Men movies is like there's no straight continuity with like the origin movie with the Wolverine, even with this one. But in a way, especially because this last movie is so good, it's like, okay, this is kind of like, I could see this relating it to kind of like a Winter Soldier type thing, because like it's just a genre movie. This Captain America Part 2 was a spy movie. Logan is just a Western movie, and it's kind of like the final chapter. And what, I don't know if like you have this feeling about this movie. To me, this movie seems more emotional because it is their last go. You know, it's like, if you think about it, like this actor Hugh Jackman has been playing this character for 17 years.
Is it really 17?
Well, they started like the whole process. I think he got cast in 99.
Oh wow!
And the first X-Men was 2001ish. So he's been playing this character in 9 movies, but a total of 17 years. And like thinking about that, just like, wow, like I can't
just let that sink in.
Yeah, because I can't think of any other.
Nobody else.
No. Anything else like this, as far as like an actor has played this for so long, maybe on TV or something like that. But as far as movies go, nobody. I mean, we've had 7 different Batmans. We've had 3 different Spider-Mans. We've had like, as far as like these comic book genre movies, where this one guy has been around.
Even James Bond has changed
that too. Like
mantles.
He's gone 4 or 5 years and then changed each one about that amount of time. But both Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman playing this character for so long, just like you said, let that sink in. Somehow that feels more emotional.
But even thinking about that, even like think about it. Yeah, Hugh Jackman, but Patrick Stewart as well.
Yeah.
Now that you said it, Patrick Stewart as well.
Yeah, those 2 guys have been here. It kind of they started the revolution of like this comic book superhero.
They did. Honestly, the first X-Men movie was really a big send off to start this going.
Yeah.
And I remember being extremely excited and everything about it.
Because that one gets a lot more credit than the first Spider-Man, which came out a couple years before.
Correct,
because they took that a little more seriously. Probably the subject matter about these mutants and like the whole.
Not only that, and Spider-Man was only one character at the time, and okay, he shoots web, but you're showing people with powers, which is completely different.
Yeah, this had more of a social commentary with the mutants and the racism type of thing. That like people saw that, and like movie studios saw that. I was like, oh, this can be like serious subject matter, or kind of dark tone, kind of stuff. More so than the campy, Schumacher Batmans, or even the fun Spider-Man movie that first one, because it was fun. There was like a little dark elements to it because of Sam Raimi's hand in it. But yeah, I mean, this movie overall is
it just hits the feels, and not only that, I told you in the theater, and we already said spoiler alert. Seeing Professor X die the way he did in the back of a pickup truck, it was just like gut wrenching.
Yeah, like I said, that movie stuck with me for the last few days. And thinking how you said that, I was like, yeah, I mean, going back to the prequel movies of the X-Men too, he's the guy that started this, gathering mutants and teaching them, and creating this family of mutants.
Think about everything
he's the one
done.
That started all this movement in this X-Men world, and for him to go out like that, it's just like, oh, it's like, wow, that's
hurt. That, like, showing you how bad it really is.
Just how he aged and how got so sick, and with like his brain
/ Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever he's having, causing
like seizures, and like just how it ended up his progression of aging.
Correct. And the way he, like I said, the way he ended, just in the back of, think about that, in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
In the back of a pickup truck, and then whispering what he told Logan,
He said the name of the boat, like right. The Daybreaker or the Daylight or something.
Something like that.
The Daylighter.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, God, no, this is how he passes.
I thought that was kind of a crappy way to go out. I was like, wow, that's how he's going out. Like, oh, that's sad.
that's what's more awesome about it, that it really tugged at it. This is sad.
Yeah. What?
It wasn't an honorable death. He didn't die in vain or anything like that. Literally just a sad ending.
Yeah. So the story goes, Logan, like kind of the end of the mutants. There's no more mutants around. There haven't been any new mutants born in 25 years.
Correct.
Logan, being old and tired, is kind of like retired of the business, like being the superhero,
correct,
quote unquote.
And not only saying that there hasn't been no new mutant in 20 some years, we also learned that the mutants that have been around haven't been kidnapped and experimented and killed.
They're being created. These kids
through what is it? The old mutants have been harvested, I guess.
Yeah, they would use their DNA and harvest them and create new mutants with these kids
for weapon use.
But so Weapon X problem. Logan's down in Mexico taking care of Xavier because this event happened that we're led to kind of believe that Xavier was the one that wiped out most of the mutants with his seizures, and because he's got some sort of neurological deficit that's like his mind just goes out of control, and he creates this like powerful, what would you call it, like just
don't know,
just crazy
life draining
vibe out in the world that like, can actually kill people and kills mutants and stuff like that. So they're just kind of like doing their own thing. Logan's like a limo driver, and that's his only means of living, and he's taking care of Xavier. And
he's just trying to save up enough money to buy a boat, so he can go out and sea. He can't injure anyone else.
Go live out in the sea. Yeah. So that's kind of thrust upon him. This lady shows up in Logan's life saying, "Hey, I need your help. I need you, to take care of this girl, basically, because the bad people, the group, they're coming after Laura."
And he doesn't want to do anything with it. He's done with that part of his life.
So the money, I guess, entices him. He goes back to like, okay, I'll take the job, but then that turns south because they found this lady. Like, what's the company's name again?
I don't remember.
Artec or something like that.
But anyways, the company somehow finds out the whereabouts of the lady, and they do what you can kind of guess what they're going to do, and end up killing her.
They kill her, and Logan sees that and like, okay, I'm bouncing. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Goes back down south and ends up the little girl, Laura,
was hiding in his trunk.
Hid in his trunk and like went down. And apparently too, Xavier was talking with her like through the telepathic.
Right.
So he had been talking to her.
That's right. Charles was having conversations with this little girl, and he had told Logan about this, but he was thinking it's just being delusional. And when he finally, got to her, and when he finally, when she finally pops out and discovers that she's out and about, Charles is like, "Hey, this is the girl I've been telling you." And he's talking. And the funny part is, he starts talking to her in Spanish. Yeah. It was like kind of everybody started chuckling, and
that one guy in the theater is like, "Emma, mother effer speaks Spanish?"
Yeah.
Like, what?
Not only that, and it's funny because did you see how Charles got more lively? Like,
yeah, picked him up. He's like a mutant. Like, this is our future. Yeah. We have a future here. So so they're thrust upon like now this like the entire mission was to get her to a safety called Eden, like up in North Dakota or something from Mexico. But yeah, the introduction of Laura, even Charles knows that she's Logan's daughter.
Yep.
Reveals that to him, and just the story of like that, that family, that group coming together, and going on this road trip to save her, but then being chased, and then like the bad events happening. But it's just this character story where it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't apocalypse.
No.
A ton of mutants. It was just Logan, Xavier, and Laura.
It's just a focused story on it. And in the end, that's what it is. It's just a dad trying to get his daughter to this safety zone. And through the process, they're getting haunted by this corporation who has weapons of mass destruction, which is from the Weapon X program.
We're introduced, which was like kept out of the marketing, which was amazing. That I didn't know this character was in it, an X-24 character. So like that evil Logan.
You know what I thought about that? I thought it was one of the smartest things they could have done. Because think about it, if they would have introduced something else, you'd be like, what is this thing? Who is he? You would have to almost waste time trying to explain what it is.
What would you have thought if they would have introduced, I don't know, Dokken, his son, from the comic?
Oh,
because we have Laura introduced as his daughter, which is a clone of him, basically.
Yeah, it's a clone.
But why wouldn't they have that Dokken character?
Because you would have to tell a big backstory. Because his son was from his marriage to that Japanese lady when he was out in Japan.
That's true.
And they were both killed essentially, but he thought the son was dead.
If anything, they could have got away with like the same excuse of like Laura being another clone. Like, oh, this is like your son clone.
It would.
But it struck me as
the little girl part would have worked best, and the X-24, his son could have been an X-24. It just wouldn't make sense. And I think showing Logan as his better self kind of deal, made it simple and cut to the chase. It's like, cool. There's you don't need any more information on this. It's just a clone version of him, younger.
Clone version of him, yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Because he was already the ultimate weapon.
Correct.
This group was like trying to create more weapons with these children. It's like, no, we'd have to like raise them, and let's just already have this adult that's already could be this weapon.
Yeah.
Kind of as is. So that was a good way of doing that. Also with the whole, I guess, metaphorical good and evil side of him, because that Logan was the X-24 was supposed to be kind of what he should have been from the beginning, just that straight weapon, evil weapon, controlled by the corporation. But Logan has some heart, has some humanity to him. So that little dichotomy of the good versus evil within just the one character of the Logan was cool. So I liked how they did that.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And like I said, it just cut to the chase, so you didn't have to worry about storytelling or anything like that. And it just gave you more time to tell this amazing story.
I did have a few seconds of like, oh, this is how they're gonna go about it. It's like Logan versus Logan. It's like, oh yeah, that's fine. But again, like the little pieces put together, like, oh yeah, make it really good, because that whole death scene, because X-24 kills Xavier, but that like that
it made it sink in more.
The whole thing about Xavier seeing a Logan killing him.
Correct.
I was like, oh, that's deep.
Yeah.
And then how, again, like following that scene where the actual Logan's like carrying him away. Like,
it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me, Charles.
Doesn't that make it like sink in more?
Chills, like saying that right now. There's those little bits and pieces of like using that X-24 was a good idea because of that.
What also made me think about too, what it brought up, ideas wise, is that how much respect and how much admiration and how much he owes to Charles, because Wolverine is doing all this for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been taking care of him for the last 25 years.
He's the one taking care of Charles. Think about it.
Or what is it? They said 6 years ago was that event at Westchester.
Think about it. He's taking care of Charles.
Yeah,
Logan's never been that type of guy.
He's said in the movie, like he calls him his dad to like this family that they meet to help out, which was brutal the way they went out, because like they meet this family out on the road.
The whole time I was like,
and like they invite him over to dinner because they help him out. And then when the X-24 shows up and the kid comes in the room, it's like, no, they're not gonna do this to that family. And then sure enough, man, he takes out the kid, he kills the mom, kills the dad. It's like, oh, that's brutal. That it's like, okay, that's where the rated R comes in. It's like, because they're really messing with this family. The violence against children almost seemed a little weird to me. It was like, okay, because this is a dark story. This is an adult story. So that whole violence against the children, were like the corporation going after those mutants, the kid mutants. Mm-hmm. One little gripe I had about the movie was the whole rated R thing about it. It was like, because first maybe 10, 15 minutes of it, they were really taking advantage of the language. And even I think it was gratuitous, that topless scene. Is like, was that really necessary? But they're just doing that. They're just doing that because this is rated R. Is like, after that, it kind of settled. And there was a more natural flow to the way the characters talked with their being the adult rated R language. Mm-hmm. And then what I thought was funny too was right at the opening scene when when Wolverine goes berserkers on those guys trying to steal his wheels, and you actually see now the limbs being chopped off and the claws through the head.
To the head with blood and
how everything. The whole theater was going like, oh, oh, oh. I was sitting there like thinking about, you guys weren't expecting this? I was like, you guys never seen this? I just saw John Wick 2 weeks ago. That was worse than this.
I think it's because it's finally showing Logan doing it. So it's like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Because you've been craving it. It's like, finally, they gave us what we want instead of imagining just hearing the slashing and not seeing anything.
Yeah, because you see him slash and punch guys through the gut, but you don't see the claws go through them, or you don't see them rip them apart, or see the limbs flying off. But yeah, I just thought it was a little funny to like hear everybody going, oh, 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 cringing. It was like, you guys weren't expecting this? Yeah. But there was much worse in John Wick, if you remember that. But that was like my only little gripe about, because like it seemed like in the very first 15 minutes, like they're taking advantage of this rated R. It's like, again, topless scene not necessary, all these F-bombs not really necessary, but later like it just kind of evened out in the rest of the movie. Like, okay,
I think honestly it sounded like, bam, it's here, it's rated R, get used to it. Okay, cool. You know, all right, cool. You know, like, oh, all right, rated R. Instead of like, oh, it was only rated R because
I would have been fine without it. I mean, if just the way after that first bunch,
but think about it, how you just heard everyone going, ooh, ah, and got people into it. That's what it did, and it worked right then.
Yeah.
Ooh, like, oh, sync right there. Line.
I don't know. I have different. I mean, because it's not the first rated R movie out there. That's my gripe about it.
But anyways, we can talk about an hour on this. But either way.
But Laura, though, I want to talk about the little girl. Oh, Daphne Keane, who was Laura, was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I loved her because she was just little. She was like
firecracker,
adorable little murder machine. Just from the very first, you see that attitude when you first see her. Well, you first see her actually in the back of the car, like driving away after that lady tries to talk to him. Then you see her again when she calls Logan to tell him the mission. Funny, she's just like standing there, like kind of like an attitude. Like, yeah. Just, but like throughout maybe about half the movie, she doesn't talk. It's just rage.
And then when you're like, what?
And then when she starts talking, and then she talks in Spanish too. It's like
it was a 3-1 off.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's so adorable. Like, I love this little girl. Plus, she's got like this freaking Wolverine rage. She was absolutely awesome.
She was good. She handled it dope though. She handled it dope.
Because it's like it's tricky when you cast kids in movies. Some kids can kind of throw it off a little bit.
Underperform, but she was right
on.
She
was amazing. Yeah. She was in there. I didn't see her acting. I saw her just like that character pretty much.
You believe who she is. Yeah.
There's true. That's very true. Little bits of her, like her rage screaming was like awesome. Little bits and pieces of her physicality that I really liked. There's this one shot in the trailer when they're being chased in the limo and how one of the dudes sticks his like robot arm in. The way she like attacks it, something about her physicality doing that was like, what? Like, it was impressive.
Oh, it didn't look like a little kid, like, oh.
Like the way she like grabs it and then slices at it and it's like so angry. It's like, I just bought into her performance.
Oh, no.
From beginning to end.
And
it was amazing.
And this is the thing about it now, I wasn't thinking about then, is how natural it looked for her. Like,
yeah, like
I accepted it.
Didn't see her acting.
You know what I mean? I accepted it. I was like, oh, this is who she is. Instead of, like you said, you know, your times you see kids play acting, you're like, oh, this is all right. This is corny. But you're right. And not once did I think about anything like, oh, okay, it's kind of killing the scene. No.
She was amazing. And she comes from like an acting lineage. Her dad's like an actor and mom's an actor in Spain. So she has Spanish parents that are actors. So she's hearing stuff like in interviews, like stuff that she said. She's grown up with this. If she's 11, 12 years old, she's grown up with it, like behind the scenes. And the way you hear her talking about like how her parents would do that, see them rehearsing, and even her audition for the movie. Like she would do the parts and stuff, and she would even like tell the directors like, "Can we try this one again? I'd like to improvise." It's like, wow, this is coming from like a little
professional
11-year-old, and she gives me vibes of Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11 in Stranger Things, because like seeing these child actors do like not seeing them act, seeing them be these characters is just amazing to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, across the board, I give this movie a great rating.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got to go see it. It's very emotional.
Gotta go see it. Very.
could have been more emotional to me. There are little bits and pieces of like how the one scene where after they bury Xavier and she kind of goes and holds his hand. If he hadn't have pulled away, I think it would have been emotional. I probably would have cried at the end because of that pull away. Is like, come on, dude. It's like I thought you guys were building this connection and that you just lost somebody, but you have somebody new.
No, because for me it was like, yeah, he has resentment because up to that point he does not want anything with her to do with it.
Yeah. So that's why at the end of it, if there was that little bit of like kind of starting to accept it, I would have cried at the end because I didn't cry at the end of this one. When a lot of people did. Was your wife crying?
Oh yeah, she was bawling.
I think I saw you looking at me to see if I was crying.
Yeah,
too.
Of course. But you gotta look at my left to see if someone's crying. Look at my right to see if someone's crying.
But no, I think just a couple little beats. If to me, if there were been some differences, I would have lost it at the end. But I liked how she turned the cross into the X at the end.
That was cool.
It was very emotional, very dramatic, very dark, very good movie.
And the way Logan passes, I won't get too detailed because I want to give you guys that. It was pretty cool. Just saying what he said at the end.
Yeah,
you remember?
Yeah. So.
So this is like.
Yeah, I mean, all that included with the like, wow, this actor's been doing this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
These movies have been around for a big chunk of our lives.
Yep.
It's like, and to see it like kind of close is like, wow, that's like emotional.
And I think that's what adds to it. It's just the closure.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the end. Don't know if we're about Professor X if this is the end because.
I mean, they're on record as saying it's their last performance as these characters, but then at the same time,
Deadpool.
Unknown if they're joking around with this other stuff, but like. Hugh Jackman has said if Marvel wants to use me, I'll come back. And Xavier with that show Legion that's out, he was like at some press thing with this Dan Stevens who plays the main character in Legion. He said, "Hey, you're my like in this comic history, you're my dad. It's like, would you come to the show and like be Charles Xavier?" And like not like official or confirmed by the studios or like. They're writing him into the show, but he says, "Yeah, I'll come back and I'll be Xavier. I'll be your dad in the show." So, and who knows if they will come back? I don't think so. Or if not, it'll be a long while.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Hugh Jackman with Deadpool. Some ridiculous scene.
If anything, he can be in Deadpool as Hugh Jackman.
There you go.
There could be some sort of joke about
fourth wall like breakage there.
Because they had his pictures in Deadpool, like the sexiest man alive, 2010 or something.
Because they throw jabs at each other.
Yeah, it's all in fun. But
there's our soapbox on Logan.
So that's it.
Great show.
We're at about 27 minutes.
Jesus.
I'll have them skip if they don't want to be spoiled.
Or we can edit this, make it its own. Since we started off with this. Either way. Moving on to movies. I guess finally Ant-Man and the Wasp are getting close to start production. And I guess it's going to be called, you know how each movie has its own little name.
Subtitle.
Production title.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
It's this one is called Cherry Blue.
Cherry Blue.
That's the production title.
Okay. I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, so nothing's being shot yet or anything like that, and more details will come out as soon as it starts recording. But it's pretty much saying that they're going to start. I bet you anything they're going to start recording within a month or two.
Which is actually surprising that Inhumans has started filming before Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because Inhumans we had talked about for as long as we've been on doing this podcast.
Correct.
Like hearing rumors about it, and then that it was finally
because it was supposed to be in the
closed out. Yeah, it was supposed to be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That they were done with it, and then like it came back, and then all of a sudden we have a cast
resurgence.
They literally.
It was supposed to be its own spin-off movie on its own movie. This is before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true.
It was supposed to be on.
It was in the
tweet timeline kind of deal. Then it was taken off. The same thing with Gambit and all that was taken off. So, but people have enjoyed the Inhumans with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in it, and I think it's pushed the studio to like, let's put this out there.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, because I've heard, I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I've heard that there's been some characters that have been Inhumans in there. Kind of got that ball started rolling.
And so far, people are addicted to this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I gotta put the time for it because all these people are saying it's great. I was like, all right, I gotta.
I've heard this season has been really great because of, like, the first half of it was like the Ghost Rider storyline,
which people have really like. And I didn't expect that. I didn't think people were gonna like this Ghost Rider with the car and everything like that. But people are liking it.
Yeah, they're into it. I guess it's something different from like because like they were so burned with the Johnny Blaze Nick Cage version. Something different, something new. It's like, oh, cool, this one is good. But yeah, it was just surprising how in Humans, all of a sudden over the last 2 weeks, we just kind of, we have a cast now, or like this guy's gonna play Bolt, and then all of a sudden today we have images of them filming in Hawaii. It's like, wow, it's already started, but Ant-Man and the Wasp hasn't. So that kind of surprised me.
That either way, they're gearing up to shoot pretty soon, so we'll get more information once that comes out.
So that's cool.
And we'll just lead into the next thing, which is talking about Black Bolt, which already leaked pictures.
The set images of them in Hawaii. Yeah, I mean, this is a big to-do for these guys because they're doing that whole, like we mentioned, the first movie is going to be in IMAX and it's going to continue as a television series. Yeah, we have our first images of them. Black Bolt in his
leather suit.
It's like a leather costume. He doesn't have like the cowl piece with the little tuning fork, or he doesn't have like the bright bolts on the costume. And they showed
Lockjaw
giant, like it's like for the blue screen special effects stuff.
What is it? They call it something else. It's reference points, kind of like a reference point CGI of Lockjaw.
So they have this literally a giant. What is it? A pit bull?
Yeah.
Bulldog standing in for what this character is going to be in the parts. It's just funny to see that big old blue.
But hey, at least you know that they're going in the right direction in that point.
So that's going to be interesting. So.
And so far, I haven't really heard too many negative things from people. Just people like to complain about things. Let's be honest. But not many people are saying anything bad about it. It's like they're pretty intrigued. Like
because there's something so new.
Correct. Not only that, and it's just like okay, so they're treating the Lockjaw the way it's supposed to be. They're not going to change it up with small dog or anything like that,
or some guy in this, like they did with the Rocket Raccoon, just some guy in a suit crouched down, like taking the place of the dog. They're actually using this giant puppet or
statue standing whatever. Yeah. So I'm interested to see more information come out of this.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more because I mean it's just like quick, like all this stuff is happening with Inhumans.
Now you were telling me this, I wasn't aware of this. Wonder Woman's positive feedback from editing?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, wake up, start scrolling through my feed. I see little bits and pieces. Like there's this new image of Wonder Woman, and then somebody tweeted out like, "Ooh, all you DC fans, 9 a.m. We're gonna get some news." But it had already been leaked before then. Apparently, it was like a lot of these entertainment reporters went to like the editing process, the editing bay where they're editing the movie, and they saw like a couple scenes, 3 scenes, and it's just nothing but positive words coming out. The scene of Diana like making her way to London with Steve Trevor, like there's like funny banter, like this, it's a lighter tone, it's more positive, it's more hopeful. The scene of the battle that we see in the trailer, where she steps out into the battlefield of World War I and deflecting the bullets. They're saying like that scene, that fight sequence, that battle sequence is like nothing we've never seen before in a DC movie. How
even in the trailers we've seen, I think it looks legit. It looks pretty badass. We've talked about how amazing it looks.
Yeah, they're saying it's an exciting piece and very emotional at the same time too. So there's like a lot of emotion with this character of Wonder Woman. So I'm like super excited. Like people are saying like, yeah, you guys who have had your doubts, you'll have that changed. And all of us have been skeptical.
Is this good news coming from DC?
This is good news.
What?
We're in the upside down right now.
Beating the shit out of this movie. What?
Seriously, this is what I need.
Are we gonna get this movie once it's over? DC, just close it. And then good. We're done. No more.
We're good.
We're done.
Yeah, all right.
We're on top.
Yes, we have a #1 movie, and it's good.
Oh man, I can't wait.
This is good news for me. I'm just like, to hear something good is like
for once. But this is Wonder Woman has been consistently good. Let's be honest. We really haven't heard too many negative things, and since we started seeing things from Wonder Woman, we've had nothing but positive things to say about it. Yeah. We haven't heard too many bad news on it either. Not too many hiccups or anything like that on there. If anything,
just originally just the complaints about casting Gal Gadot. And I mean, BVS came around. I was like, okay, her little bit is like, we're interested in seeing more. She did a good job, and she looks amazing. She looks fantastic.
Amazing.
She looks wonderful.
Amazing.
And then, yeah, I mean, I'm so glad to hear that news. So happy.
Yeah. Also, we were talking about this. We talked about it, I believe, 3 weeks ago. Bright, the Will Smith movie.
It was last week.
Last week?
Because it came out. It was during the Oscars.
Right. Sunday. So, I guess I was reading more information on this. $90 million production. Netflix is pushing of their own money.
Wow.
So they're going big on this, and
it's just one movie, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's pretty significant. This isn't a studio. This isn't one big network. This is Netflix. So this is a big gamble for them. And people were talking about the reason it's a huge gamble is usually you put Will Smith in a movie and it's a big draw. And he's had a lot of misses recently. So
yeah, he didn't have that. He doesn't have currently that career he had.
No, he doesn't have that blockbuster pool.
Late 90s, early 2000s, correct, where it was the summer of Will Smith.
Yeah, he doesn't have that blockbuster pool. However, people are pretty interested in this movie and the way Netflix does things, they put their money and they back things that do normally work. They have a higher success rate than fail rate when it comes to their shows.
Yeah, with their original movies and productions.
So I'm excited for this since I am a Netflix and I love Netflix. So I can't wait till this movie comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that little teaser. It looks like a Training Day meets Lord of the Rings type of thing, or like it's fantasy world within this world of LAPD or something like that.
Right.
But I'm interested. I mean, David Ayer, I like, and Will Smith. I mean, you can't go wrong.
What's not to like?
Suicide Squad.
Mel Gibson.
Not official.
Hopefully one day.
Me.
Anyways, we're also talking about the Deadpool short.
Deadpool short actually came out before Logan.
Now, I want to say this, bringing this up. People were bitching and moaning that there was no end scene credit. Say they would have put this as an end scene. You think people were like, oh, all right, cool, we'll take that.
I don't think that would have been good because I thought I was the only one who thought that, but from hearing all these pundits that I follow, it's like, yeah, it wouldn't fit at the end of this movie because this movie is an emotional ride, and the way it leaves you feeling at the end,
just stay there.
Let's kind of like, okay, let's process. Let's not throw this in. That wouldn't. I don't think that would have fit.
Some wise words there.
That was awesome to put in the beginning. Like when we were like waiting for it and it didn't happen, it's like, oh, okay, it was a Deadpool thing in the beginning to make up.
Well, first of all, we weren't expecting it.
Totally weren't expecting it.
That's the thing, the biggest thing. You're like,
which is freaking cool.
Yeah.
Because it started and I thought, okay, this is Logan. We're watching. We see this guy walking these abandoned streets.
I thought that was the start of the movie. Right
That's
here.
what I thought too. And then we see this hooded figure, and then we hear music, and you know how like a lifetime of thoughts goes through your brain in a matter of a second. When this was happening, the thought passed through my head is like, oh, that'd be funny if like you hear the music, it's the Angel of the Morning from Deadpool. And sure enough, he did that, and it was that song. It was like, that tripped me out. And then he reveals himself as Deadpool. I was like, what, is he in this movie? It's like, how are they going to do this? What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, because honestly, they just started out because they showed the Marvel starting credits and like, cool, this is it. This is the movie. But I never thought it was until you realize it isn't the movie at all because it's just some cheesy stuff. Yeah,
because you see some dude getting mugged and Deadpool's like, oh, not on my watch, motherfucker, and then runs, and the whole gag of him changing
the whole Superman
to the
gag
Superman theme.
And then while he's doing that, you hear the guy getting mugged, screaming for help.
Somebody help me! There's anybody in this world.
And then Nathan Summers.
Like I was looking at all the Easter eggs because like you see he's like actually standing by a theater and Logan is playing in the theater. You see the Logan posters. And then he goes into the phone booth, and then Nathan Summers like tagged on the phone booth. Nathan Summers coming soon.
Yep.
And then there was Firefly posters.
Yep.
Which I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's like, oh, the actress was on Firefly, so that's kind of like that little Easter egg. But it was released online the next morning, and it's actually a different version.
Correct.
He takes off the earbuds. It's a different song that's playing there. Another difference is when he's in the phone booth, he actually makes a phone call in the phone booth. He calls the costumer of Deadpool, Laird, I guess to help him put on the costume or something. Then when he jumps out, Stan Lee's there like, wow, what a great costume. He's like, zip it, Stan Lee. And then he runs to the guy. So there's a couple little differences on the online released one. I like the tweet that Stan Lee put out after he did that. He's like, "Thank you to Ryan Reynolds for releasing this one with me in it, or else I would have been like gone into obscurity."
Yeah.
It's like
that's cool.
He's like Stan Lee's the greatest cameo guy in the history of movies.
He is. He's everybody's grandpa.
But I love that short though. I liked it. Like a lot of people didn't like it for some reason. I don't know why. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Well, even if they hate it, there's the other version that they like. So it's out there.
I saw the gag. I knew what was going to happen. Like he's going to go into the phone booth. It's going to take forever. The guy's going to get shot and killed anyways. I knew that was going to happen. I'm sure you probably did too.
Yeah.
But it's just a funny gag.
Yeah, and it's funny to see. Like, yes.
It's in the world of
and
Deadpool.
It makes you go, yes, I want more of this, please.
It's in the vein of Deadpool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. That was the fun bonus that we got.
Sure was.
What else we got?
We got the Logan recording that he posted on his Instagram.
That was cool.
That was pretty cool. So Hugh Jackman just showed off him doing his just voiceover recording. And it was just, the scene was of him when he was running in the woods. And it just shows the intensity he puts into this. His, just
the growls and
just the growls. And that final scream he did, I was like, Jesus. Mine would have been bitchy as fuck.
He still puts all in, even in the recording, like dubbing.
Yeah. And that was just a little cool tidbit. That he posted out there.
It just adds to seeing just the little bits and pieces. It's like, wow, it's like, it's over. Like, wow.
And I don't know if you've seen this. So we started talking about it being in production, over a year ago?
Somewhere around that.
A year ago?
Yeah, I
when
saw
everything was being remade and
Stephen
stuff like
King.
That. And I guess Stephen King had saw, I don't know, production or...
He saw a cut of the movie. He saw the movie.
Okay, that's what it was. He saw a cut of the movie. And Stephen King is very vocal when it comes to his graphic novels.
His property.
Or properties. When they're made into movies, he'll voice it. He's like, I don't like it.
Because he didn't like The Shining.
No. Or I didn't like this, or I didn't like that. And he said he likes it. He goes, everybody can relax. I approve it. So that's pretty cool. And for, the horror master himself to say that, I think that's a pretty big deal.
That's good because, like, a lot of people in the horror community, like, because I follow that kind of stuff, like, we're kind of hesitant to, like, accept it.
Because it's their child, or, their...
Because it's like, oh, it was great just the way it was. I mean, Tim Curry was amazing as it. And then the one or two images we saw of this new guy who's playing it, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't live up to our expectations, I guess. Yeah, but he saw, reading directly Stephen King's tweet.
Uh-huh.
Andy Muschietti's remake of It. Actually, it's part one, The Losers Club, because they split.
Just like in the original one, it was 2 movies.
It was, because it was a made-for-TV movie.
Correct.
It was a 2-night event. So what they're doing for the theater release is they're making it part 1, part 2. So part 1 is them as the kids, part 2, the adults. It says, succeeds beyond my expectations. Relax, wait, and enjoy.
Nice.
So that's awesome.
From the horror master himself.
Mr. King.
So
that one, now I'm like a little more excited for it.
I'm
really looking forward to it.
Honestly, that's a huge stamp of approval. Seriously, that's a huge stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So, going on from that, talking about remakes, Spawn. McFarlane was talking about it. He goes, if the Spawn is ever to happen, it's going to be a hard rated R.
And he's been saying this for a long time.
Yeah.
Almost since probably the first one came out, that he's been wanting to do either a sequel or maybe reboot it.
Because he was very vocal about this. And this is the reason he created Spawn. Because, he was the creator of Venom, right?
He actually created Venom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did not. I knew he was one of the artists with like Spider-Man.
Yeah, so with the whole creation of Venom was what he wanted for Venom is what Spawn is. He just wanted him to be that dark.
Okay.
But Marvel at the time went with a different little direction, but that's how he created Venom.
That's how. That's why he left Marvel. They started Image Comics.
He started Image Comics with like 6-7 artists.
Kirkman,
Jim Lee,
Liefeld, Jim Lee. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and it was all to the tune of them being creative owners of their own stuff.
Yeah.
You create it, you own it.
Which is awesome. I mean, for these group of guys and that company's still going, and like they do amazing work. like Kirkman with Invincible, Walking Dead, and Outcast now, and Liefeld with the creation of Deadpool, and what else has he got?
There's
like Wildcats, isn't that?
Well, I was gonna say Wildcat and God, they had Haunt, which
Haunt,
is
actually I have Volume 1 of Haunt. I liked it. It's because it's a Kirkman McFarlane thing. I liked it. I just haven't gotten around to following the storyline, but it's pretty cool.
No, I like it too. But either way, yeah, I'm on board in this. I wouldn't mind seeing a rated R Spawn.
Totally, especially the way the special effects work nowadays. Just it would
where they can make it work
a million times better than the original.
Yeah,
the original was fun. Like it is very 90s. Going back to it,
it was reflective of its times. We can't complain.
Exactly.
We can't complain that it wasn't any better. It was reflective of its time. We can't say now, oh, it could have been better in this way when it was reflective of its time.
Yeah, because they didn't have that technology to make, the best that it possibly could have. But I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
I love the soundtrack.
Because I was a fan of Spawn.
Yeah, so was I.
And actually seeing it and his call, I was like, oh.
Yeah, because I mean, just
what's the guy's name? Something J. Michael White or something like that.
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White.
Yeah. See, having these characters, these action figures that looked so cool. I love the design of Spawn with the giant cape and the chains, and the art of it. I love the
very
art.
rebel for our times. When you think about it, for all the shit we used to see and stuff like that, I think that's what it played a big part. It's like,
it leaned a lot towards like horror, and I'm being the huge horror fan that I grew up. Like that was totally up my alley with the character of Clown and Violator, and like coming from hell and stuff like that. I love the design of those characters. The Violator looked freaking awesome. Like the action figure, and then like to be able to see it on screen, like, oh wow, they brought it to life. I was a little disappointed with the Violator in the movie.
John Leguizamo.
The Clown, he was cool. You could like tell he was like in that heavy makeup, but when he turned into that Violator creature, remember that little? It didn't have that long jaw like the action figure or the comic. I was a little disappointed with that. But yeah, I'm totally into seeing a Spawn reboot with what they can do nowadays.
Hopefully, someone pushes on with this,
especially with just the hot topic of like rated R stuff, like Deadpool worked rated R. Now Logan's a massive success rated R. Spawn rated R is what it should have been to begin with. I think it was actually, wasn't it? That 90-some movie?
No, I think it was PG-13.
PG-13? I don't remember.
Pretty sure it was PG-13.
I'm down to see a Spawn reboot.
And that'll be pretty much it for the movie side. Not much on TV or comics. We're a pretty busy week for us.
I didn't do any reading of comics or any TV watching because I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
So what's your take on Horizon? I know you talked about a little bit last week, but what's your overall take right now?
I'm loving the game. Yeah. It's fun. It's an amalgamation of a lot of games that we've already like come to play, like the RPG world. It's a massive map. It's a huge world.
Is there multiplayer in this?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the story's like interesting because it's like that futuristic. It's set in apocalypse, like years in the future, but like I said, it's like sci-fi Game of Thrones is like what I described it. Like I just found the first cave where like kind of like the machines are made, and it's just is amazing just seeing that, like the world that you live in, like in the nature and like the tools that you use, and then just to find this cave where like the computers or the machines are being made is like it's a flip of like it's just sci-fi, but I'm having fun with it.
You know what I need to do to play this? I need to connect my hard drive because I have no more storage.
I had to delete all my Battlefield 1 storage data.
See?
To make room for Horizon.
That's horrible. I deleted Batman.
But I should Batman's staying.
I deleted Batman.
All 75 gigs of Batman is still on there, and it's staying. And actually, I think one of the latest updates for PlayStation, we can have an external hard drive.
Yeah, that's what. No, that's why I have a terabyte, so I'm gonna use that.
You bought one?
I've had it.
You've had it. I need to get one of those because I really need, because I have like so many games just sitting in the library that I need to download if I ever want to play, but I have to remove games to get those in.
That's horrible. A gamer should never do that.
Crazy. Yeah,
that's cool. I'll eventually buy that one.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about coming by earlier and like bringing it if you wanted to play, but you'd probably been busy with the kids and stuff. But I'm loving it. I'm having fun with it. Like these creatures, these robot creatures that you fight are so cool to like, you find their weakness and you craft the tools to fight them, and It's fun. I'm having a blast with it.
Gotta see that. All right, so you were asking me about Titanfall because I keep playing it. The only reason I keep playing it is because I don't have storage to put more games into it.
Spawn rated R. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
97.
Oh, it was a soft R then.
It's different than 90s, yeah.
But the game is now. They don't have too many.
Did you play the storyline, the campaign?
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. There's a little time travel into the storyline, which I thought was awesome. The way they played it. I
actually looked up reviews for it and like gave good reviews on the storyline, like the campaigns. Mm-hmm. Like I'm interested in getting it just for the campaign because I don't play too much multiplayer stuff. But campaign alone, it's like I think I'd get it.
Yeah, the multiplayer is a little bit lacking. Honestly, I'm just playing it to play something. I want to play Black Ops 3.
Did you play the first Titanfall?
No.
It's actually an improvement from the first one, so probably because you didn't play that first one, that's why you're thinking it's lacking. But based on all these reviews I saw on it, is like it's
the multiplayer part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They say they improved on many aspects of multiplayer portion of it. That's because you didn't.
The part that I think it's lacking is this the variety of games that they have.
Okay.
You know, I
noticed just like capture the flag type of stuff.
It's mostly generic stuff. Yeah, capture the flag, kill the most kill.
Team deathmatch.
Yeah, so that's the only part it's lacking. But gameplay mechanicals wise, it's easy to understand. Cool weapons, cool choices. Using Titans is awesome. Just little changing up, the options of the multiplayer stuff.
Okay.
But besides that, though, the campaign is amazing. I liked it. But I'm just gonna connect my terabyte, and next game I'm gonna play, it's definitely gonna be Black Ops 3.
Have I played that one?
No, because we gotta get together and do the zombie maps.
I have Black Ops 3, but I never finish the campaign. It was like kind of like lacking for me for some reason.
But we all gotta do zombies sometime.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I couldn't.
That's the big gamer news of this week.
Yeah, I couldn't get it myself. It was released the day I had to start getting to work. And so I knew that Target was saving some for Sunday. But I was going to show up as soon as I got relieved from work. I can't leave too early because I'm on probation.
Yeah.
So when I got there, literally 2 people ahead of me was a cutoff.
The last one.
I was like, fuck. No big deal. So,
it'll be around.
Well, the big news with that is it's a massive success. GameStop, Nvidia, Sony, a lot of companies are tipping their hat to Nintendo's because I guess a lot of retailers are saying this is the best launch in a while for any company, just not just say Nintendo, but even for Nintendo, the biggest launch in a while.
Well, there's probably because it's the biggest change Nintendo has done.
Correct.
Because they went from Wii to Wii U. Yeah. It really wasn't that dramatic of a difference.
No, and people were, the pros is people are really enjoying it, the aspects of it. You can take it anywhere kind of situation. Cons is a lot, just like any launch thing, not many games to it.
That's one thing about Nintendo. I think with all their the Wii's,
the third parties,
their launch, lineup hasn't been as extensive as like a Xbox or PlayStation.
Correct. But in saying so, though, the Zelda game that people have been purchasing and say it's amazing. It's so massive, it's crazy, and it's so interactive.
The Wind Talker.
No. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. Look it up right now.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. There it is.
Zelda Breath of the Wild.
It's so intuitive, so expansive that I don't know if it was a director or a designer or someone with the game. They moved a boulder from the start of the game to the very end. That means they beat the game while they were still pushing that boulder. So every time they were trying to do something, they were just pushing that boulder at the same time, just to show how interactive it is. That this stupid little boulder has nothing really to do, can be used all the way to the end of the game.
That's interesting.
To show how big it is and massive, And this game's common cartridges, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, I saw videos of they purposely made these cartridges with some sort of chemical or something in order to taste bad, in order to keep kids from eating it or animals from eating it, that it tastes so horrible that you can't.
Yeah, you saw people doing a taste test.
I was like, what is going on?
I want to taste it now.
Cartridges. I mean, it's a smart idea, but yeah, it is little tiny cartridges, and I'm curious to see how big these games are that are on these cartridges. Yeah. Especially seeing as we got 45, 50 gigs on a disc that we play with like the PlayStation or Xbox games. So I'm curious about the size of this world in the Nintendo games.
But even the discs have come under fire. Oh, people shipping half completed games. So by the time you get it at home, you're downloading the second half of the game.
Yeah, with the Xbox One and PlayStations, is because day one updates is just ridiculous.
And gamers, and rightfully so, are upset about that. And it shouldn't be that way. And it's take your time. If you have to complete a game, make a good game. And it's so many things with pushing deadlines that they get it out there. And like, don't worry, we'll get it ready with day one updates. And it shouldn't be that way, man.
Yeah.
It should be plug in and play. I miss that. Plug and play.
Yeah, because I still, like, I'm sure you've probably seen that meme of, like, Nintendo 64 is like, haven't played it in 20 years. Plug it in and start the game immediately. No need for a 3-4 hour update.
Oh, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on from the Nintendo Switch, which I'll eventually get and do a review on. Middle-earth Shadows of War. Did you play the first one?
Yeah. Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor. Really cool game. It's Lord of the Rings with the action mechanics of the Arkham games, which was amazing, freaking awesome. I liked how it was violent and gory with like chopping orcs and stuff.
Different finishers with specials. And
it was really cool. I liked that game. But yeah, just trailer was released last week. I actually forgot to mention it on the last episode, but yeah, for Middle-earth Shadows of War. I guess it's going to be a sequel to it. And it looks freaking cool.
It shows the rise of what's his name? God, is it the rise of Sauron?
Sauron, I think so.
I think that's what it's about, right?
I think so, because you see that giant eye, right? Yeah, I think so. That's actually going off topic, but you know the movie trivia show that I watch. I found my weakness is Lord of the Rings stuff, and surprisingly Harry Potter stuff. I love Harry Potter, but I don't know every single character's name and their relationship stuff because I haven't watched it like obsessively like I've watched like anything else. But like anytime on the trivia show, any Lord of the Rings things come up, I get maybe 10% of the questions. Or Harry Potter stuff's like, ooh, those are my weaknesses.
Nice. Like, good to know. So Mass Effect Andromeda. I haven't seen the trailer on it, but I've heard a lot of people say
there's a lot of clips online. There's a couple trailers, just like gameplay footage. But being Mass Effect, I'm a huge fan of the Mass Effect trilogy. Excited for this one and seeing all this video, that gameplay and stuff that's been coming out. It's like getting me more excited. It should be coming out in the next couple months or so, like 2-3 months. So.
Can't wait.
So those are two new games that should be out this year. Middle-earth Shadows of War and Mass Effect Andromeda.
Sounds good, man.
That I'm excited for. So, yeah. There's stuff online if you guys want to look it up.
Yeah. And everything we talked about today, you can mostly check it out online.
Go on to YouTube.
Definitely watch Logan. Definitely buy Horizon. Check out those trailers for Shadows of War and Mass Effect Andromeda.
Watch the Deadpool short.
Oh, yeah. But that's pretty much it for us today.
That'll do it.
All right, game over, guys. Thank you for listening. This is NES Podcast. You got Drew, Los, subscribe, like, share. Ask us questions, share.
Tweet at us. I actually have
on Twitter.
Yeah, we have a Twitter. We have an Instagram.
We got to be more active on our Instagram.
I'll get some questions from you guys if any of you guys
listen. Yeah, especially on your Facebook. Cool. All right, thanks again, guys. Have a good day.
Adios.